The employer-employee relationship tends to be weighted against employees. That's something acknowledged by Singapore's acting Manpower Minister today. Mr Tan Chuan-Jin posted this on his Facebook page and said this is why the Employment of Foreign Manpower Act was amended, I quote, to try and stem the worst abuses. Mr Tan was commenting on the protest by 2 construction workers from China 2 days ago. They've been charged with criminal trespass after sitting atop 2 cranes for hours, claiming they were owed wages. The Manpower Ministry has found that this wasn't true, but Mr Tan says MOM is still looking into whether the employer breached any statutory provisions under the Employment Act. He also reiterated on Facebook that workers should approach his ministry for help if they need it. He says sometimes workers have misplaced expectations or unreasonable demands, but employers who don't conform to acceptable practices can be barred from hiring. Mr Tan has also come out to clarify 2 common misperceptions that he believes companies have about Singapore's hiring policy for foreign workers. One is that the government has turned off the tap, and the other that it took sudden and knee-jerk tightening measures. He spoke to Channel NewsAsia this week.
There are now nearly 1 million foreign workers employed in Singapore. Mr Tan said most Singaporeans understand the need for foreign workers to augment the workforce, but there are still misperceptions on the ground.
One is that we've completely turned off the tap, meaning that foreign workers was available, suddenly we just completely reduce it close to zero. But actually that's not the case. But we need to manage a number because unlike the past, where we could grow and perhaps not quite feel that physical and social impact, I think we've reached a stage where those things matter. And I think that's where we need to begin to tighten up and ease off in terms of foreign worker dependency. That's why the move towards productivity is quite critical.
He added foreign worker quotas are not operated like Certificate of Entitlements or COEs for cars.
We actually don't operate a COE system for foreign workers, meaning that you kept the number of foreign workers available on a monthly basis or a yearly basis, because I think that would not be tenable. Then you'd be bidding for workers, and actually that makes it a lot more unpredictable. The few levers we have essentially lies with levies. So basically, levies can increase, making it more costly, and therefore you have to price it in as to whether you need more or less workers.
The other lever that the government uses is the dependency ratio. This is different for various sectors. Under it, companies need to employ 1 Singaporean worker to be eligible for a certain number of foreign workers.
If demand continues to be strong and numbers continue to go up, then we'll continue to calibrate. And I think that's the correct way to do it, because it prevents you from making a sort of broad brush solution that is perhaps too strong and leaves you very little room for flexibility.
Still, Mr Tan acknowledges that some companies may move out of Singapore with a tighter foreign worker quota.